How many people you get?
Not a lot. I'm hoping I'm hoping that I'll get more, as stuff starts building, I start getting, more guests and people get a little bit more invested. But, this is good for me because that way I go, got a few seconds. Let me go in there first. Hey, guys, welcome to Pyramid Stream #1. And the reason why you never heard of that show is because it's a brand new show, #1, right? And that really is inspired by this movie. So before we even get to that, I just want to make sure I introduce my brother, Sam. Sam, say hi.
How are you, everybody?
Oh man, so we got two people in here. We'll probably get a little bit more as we go. We get a little bit deeper into this. But I want to make sure that I give Sam the opportunity to kind of, I guess, introduce himself a little bit. Whatever you want to tell the audience about yourself, about your journey, right? Obviously, this is a hat channel, but this is not a hat stream, right? Even though you got a hat on. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. We wear many hats around here. And then obviously my bro Sammy always since day one repping the Yankees, just like my other brother Willie. So Sammy had it down in Jersey, right, holding it down for the boys in Jersey, and then my brother Willie was holding it down for the family in Brooklyn. So Sammy, I want to leave the floor to you. That way you can just say whatever you want to say about yourself.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Sammy Vieira. I'm big brother to Luke. I'm 57, and I recently retired. Worked in the Good Morning Winter.
Yeah.
Recently retired in May of 2025. Worked 37 years in the federal government.
Yeah.
Finally decided to hang it all up, and now I'm enjoying my life down in Sunshine State, Florida. And I spoke to my brother, and he had this thing going on, and we were talking about life in general.
Yeah.
We spoke about a good movie that he's going to touch on, and we'll talk on it.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie is very inspiring. If you and again, I'm a grown man, and I ain't afraid to say that I cried when I watched this movie, because if it doesn't touch you, I don't know what else will.
Yeah.
So
No, you're not lying.
I'm telling you, it's a life-changing movie, and when I saw it, believe me, it gave me a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
It actually gave me motivation to do better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, bro, that's so deep. And I gotta tell you, I watched it twice, right? So I watched it the first time. I wasn't by myself, my significant other. So for the most part, I didn't cry the first time. I think that was kind of like, it's all right. You know what I mean? Because sometimes what happens is, like, for me, there's so many movies, like the movies that touch me, I watch them over and over and over again. And what happens every single time I watch it, I get something new out of the movie. And I gotta tell you, I watched it this morning, right? Because I always try to do my research. Anybody that's watching this, they're like, okay, this guy at least did something to prepare. Sometimes I use shortcuts, right? Like, I got the ADHD thing. I'll take a shortcut. I'll use ChatGPT. But for this one, I'm like, I made sure I rewatched it from beginning to end. I paused, right, to kind of come out like, oh man, because you're right. The general story at first, but then you start noticing things that the producer does or somebody did, right? Like, and it could be an accident. Maybe because I always tell people, I could be making this thing completely up, right? Meaning that I could talk to the people that made the movie. They were like, no, that's not what we're thinking at all. But that's like art. That's how art is, right? You go and you consume a piece of art, and you start seeing things that even the artist didn't intend. And because you project, right? Like sometimes what happens is we project our insecurities, our feelings onto other people, and they don't even mean it. But it's like, nah, it's really how we feel. And that's cool too. I mean, that's still beautiful. And I think that's what art does. And I think this definitely is a work of art. And I would love to talk to the people that made this movie, because I cried the second time, right at the end, I cried. And I didn't even know why I was crying. Like, it got me thinking about my brother Nelson, right? Our brother Nelson, right? I'm used to saying my brother because nobody, I didn't forget family. The only other family that's made it on here, Sammy, has been Jonathan, our nephew Jonathan over in Arizona. I always want to say little Jonathan, but he's big John. He's nothing little. That dude's ginormous, and I love that kid. I mean, I love all my nieces and nephews. I always tell all you guys, I love your kids. In many ways, I feel like they're my kids, but at the same time, because I'll still give out advice. I go dad mode on so many people, and especially my nieces and nephews, because you know what I mean. I'm like, what am I worth if I can't share my journey and my thoughts and my advice? But I always say this, Sammy, and I told this to all the family. I always tell them, hey, listen to your papi first, right? Listen to your mommy and papi first. But if I say something that contradicts them, like, you know what I mean? I'll leave it up to you, but I'm gonna tell you. That way, it's never a lie. When I go tell you I always told them, Bobby. I always told them, Sammy. I always told them, Eli, Johnny, that to listen to their mommy and papi first, because I would hope that somebody tells me that too, because that's how I value. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny, like our relationship, right? Our relationship, when you think about it, like, how long have we actually lived where we're brothers? We're legit brothers, but we had a situation where you're right. You grew up in a different household. I grew up in my household, but we're so similar, right? It's so funny. Obviously our dad is part of that, but I think there's something about life and about the idea of family. It doesn't even matter what the family is. If you grew up with in valuing family, wow, you could I could find so many similarities. And and again, the audience probably doesn't know that because they don't know our situation. And that's fine. We don't need to go into all that. But this movie, I tell you, when you told me I was going to cry, I saw it. I was like, okay, I could see why, but I didn't do it only because I was kind of doing the tough guy kind of thing, that guys tend to do. But the second time, man, I cried like a baby. And again, I didn't even know I was crying.
I tell you, growing up in the hood, as
Yeah,
we all did, right? It never made me who I am, but it
yeah,
showed me a different part of life that
yeah,
obviously the very few people,
yeah.
can actually say they've experienced those kind of things.
Right.
I've lived all my life in the ghetto, and I'm not
Yeah,
ashamed to say it. But at the
yeah,
same time, it taught me a lot of valuable lessons. And then watching a movie like this, right?
yeah,
When you see what a young boy is trying to do, he didn't mean to change the world, but he did in
yeah,
his own ways, right? And that inspired me because I've always had a good heart, and I've always
yeah,
had a thing for people. And to this day, I still do the same. Like I
yeah,
still carry myself in that way. And how I know that this is the way I do things, I see my kids. My kids
yeah,
all have huge hearts, right? All four of them, and I love them to death. And one of the biggest and proudest things that I have about my kids is that I can honestly say that my kids love people,
yeah,
and that's really the most impactful way that you can pat yourself on the back and say, I did a great job. Not that
yeah,
I give myself credit for it because a lot has to do with them following suit, but
yeah,
every individual's different in their own way. But when you see them, you can't help but shed a tear and see how beautiful their life is, right? And
yeah,
that's an example of who you are as a parent, right? We
yeah,
we all didn't get to grow up like I can't, obviously I can't speak for many people, but I can speak for those that grew up without a dad, right? And
yeah,
your dad is my dad, and obviously it's different perspective, but it's
yeah,
neither here or there. It's how and what you make of it that really propels a person, right? It doesn't have to be your particular dad or mother or father
yeah,
or grandfather. It could be anybody. It could be a local person who lives nearby,
yeah,
right? And for me, that's what I had. I had those people that I felt like they were like family to me, like they treated me like their son. And
yeah,
when I when I received that blessing, I felt like that's what I'm here to do. I have to pass it on, pay it forward, right? As the movie,
That's right.
and give that same thing, that same love, that same affection, that same caring to other people. And
Yeah.
that's why I carry myself in this way. I've always been that way, but this movie solidified for me what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's powerful, bro. I love the way you put things. And we had some really good conversations recently, and obviously that's kind of where that led to you recommending the movie. I guess my first question for me to you, and then we got Josh in the audience. We're now up to 5 people in here. I know we got a small, but eventually we get a growing audience. And the nice thing I like to say, Sammy, is that it doesn't matter who's on here live, right? The show, right? Once we hit the end stream, it'll go into the archives, and then it's there for anybody to enjoy. What I like to call in syndication. You know what I mean? Just like when we used to watch shows back in the day, right?
Yep.
That's how I watched The Honeymooners when it was in syndication. And it was way after The Honeymooners was out, right? But I love that show. Just like a lot of shows that we enjoyed, and I think that's the thing that me and you share. And I know it's not just me and you, right? The reason why a lot of people love these movies. Hey, we got my boy CP. What's up, CP? Salute.
What's up,
Chris,
CP?
welcome, man. I think this might be the first time you're on this. You got your Uncle Sam right here watching, and I know you guys haven't actually physically met.
Wait, whoa. Time out. True Mets?
Yeah, that's my boy. Well, yeah, there you go. This is your uncle, right? You got 2 uncles that are on at least 2 that are on the dark side, the Yankees. But we love them anyway. And my boy CP. If you guys don't know, CP is my son. He has his own YouTube channel. He talks about the Mets. Catch him out. He's way more successful than I am. And that's cool. But he's part of the inspiration for this channel. You know what I mean? Like, I watched his baseball journey. Now I'm watching his career journey. I'm watching his life journey. Right now that baseball is not the biggest part of his life, it still is, right? But he's doing it as from not as a player. He's doing it as an analyst. He's doing it as somebody that is able to share his perspective, right? Because I've never, Sammy plays ball. I played ball in the street, right? But I never played ball. Yeah, exactly. How we do it back in the day. You played ball because somebody yelled out your window, yo, like The Sandlot, right? If you guys watch the movie The Sandlot, that's how it was, even though that wasn't in the hood. But that's how it was. Somebody throws a rock on your window and say, yo, let's go. We need somebody. And then you go and you do it, right?
Right.
So shout out to CP. Thanks for coming by. And like I said, drop me a line. Let me know how you doing. Don't be a stranger, son.
Disclaimer. I'm not as good as CP anymore, but I used to.
Hey, you do all right. Trust me. Like I said,
I'm 57. I still play.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what counts, right? Like, you got to be in it to win it. It's like the lotto. You got to be in it to win it. And that's the thing. I love that idea because, again, everybody chooses to compete, right? There's competition, right? Everybody thinks of like competition as a weird word, right? There's people that compete, but they know how to, they can be a good sport. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to go out there, we're going to do battle. That's why I love, like Puerto Ricans, right? We're both come from a strong Puerto Rican family. We got that background. Pugilism, the idea of we're going to throw down and, right, you could be better than me or I'll be better than you, but we're going to shake hands and then you're going to respect each other a little bit more. And, in many ways, I wish that nowadays people solve their problems with just some boxing gloves, right? It's like now we got nuclear weapons out, and besides that, kids are shooting other kids. And that actually is relevant to this movie. Let me keep it off topic because my brain's going all over with. I always tell everybody here knows Sammy, and from interacting, I'm twitchy. You know what I mean? I think twitchy, I speak twitchy, but that's, hey, it is what it is.
But I can't see comments out here. Is it because I'm?
Oh, you can't see the comments? Well, anyway, somebody gets a comment. So Josh is a hatter on my channel. He's just starting to make hats. He's in Alabama. I don't know why it won't let you see the comments, but
I see it now.
Yeah. So he says good morning. Like, dude, what I try to do here, Sammy, is I try to build like the online version of Cheers. You remember the show Cheers?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So like, right, the tagline for Cheers is where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came, right? So that's why I want this. It's basically like an online social club. Even though we talk about hats, that's just a straw man, right? That's what gets you in the door. But we really talk about careers, life, and just anything that's top of mind, right? Somebody like Morgan is somebody that is 19 years old. I knew her from the Hack Chat, the Facebook channel, and she's 19 years old and she just moved out. I got to celebrate that because everybody remembers the first time they got their own place, right? Right? Just like you remember your first girlfriend or boyfriend, you remember, right? Your first, whatever. You remember that first time you went and you went out and got your own place because, right? It's like those markers that people have in their life where they're like, oh man, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Your first job, that first paycheck.
Like a timeline.
Like that whole timeline. And there's something universal about that. I talk about the universal experience because, well, how could I go and say something bad about the next man if we got so much in common? Like there's a method to the madness, right? So, not to get too preachy because that's not what the point is, but I want to ask you, Sam, take me back if you can remember, right? You may not remember because sometimes you see movies and you're like, I don't know when the first time I saw this movie at. But take us back to when, if you could remember, or at least one of the early times when you saw this movie, and then you kind of realize, man.
I think it was more of a, well. Let's go back because when I first saw this movie, probably I don't know who's on here, but probably
it came out in 2000, so
but
25 years ago it came out.
It was VHS.
Okay.
VHS. So
shout out to VHS.
You remember before you used to go to either Blockbusters or you used to go to a local video store that rented out videotapes, and this movie just said, I just looked at it. Now, I love action. I'm an action person. I love
me too, bro.
Like Samuel L. Jackson, the Denzel Washington movies, those kind of things. But every now and then, a little drama is nice.
Yeah.
And this particular movie, I saw it on the board and I looked at it and I was like, paying it forward. That sounds pretty cool. So I decided to watch it, and believe it or not, I couldn't keep my eyes off it because it was so powerful.
Yeah.
And again, it drew me in because at the beginning you had a kid with a mom who had alcohol problems. Right?
Yeah.
And obviously she had, she's divorced or separated, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember the teacher having his issues, right? And they both had pretty much emotional wrecks. And somehow the project in the school became to do something, right? And the kid thought about it, and he realized, I guess, his mom was going through her emotional wreckness of alcoholism and stuff like that, and felt like, okay, well, what can I do? And something just clicked in the kid and said, if I can do 3 favors, right? If I could do 3 good things, right? One of them was obviously to get those 2 connected, which he did. Right. And the other 2, he helped out a homeless man.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the third one was, but it's been a while since I watched the movie.
It was Adam, his classmate that was getting bullied.
Okay, there you go. And then all of that stuff, and then you start looking at the movie, how he impacted the 3, and he told them, he says, you don't have to pay me back. I'm not looking for payback. It's more like, I want you to do the same thing. Pay it forward to 3 people.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, right, after like midway through the movie, I'm watching it, and I'm saying like, wow, this is like a powerful message here.
Yeah.
This kid went to 3 people, and he drew it up, right? And the way you saw it, and it was explained in the movie, you went and got 3 people. Those 3 people got 3, which now became 9.
Yeah.
And then the 9 became 27, and so on and so forth. It was like amazing, and it was a happy, happy story. And again, I'm 57 years old. At the time I saw it was probably about maybe my 30s.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, I cried like a little. I don't know if I could use the word, but I cried like a bitch. because at the end, it was like, wow, this is so powerful. And if only everybody would watch this movie, right? They could
Yeah.
understand what it's like to, you know, I want to say it doesn't hurt to be kind, right? And
Yeah.
especially today, right? If you think about the environment that we're living in today, it's not
Yeah.
good for our kids, right?
Right.
Back when you and I were kids, and everybody in here was our age, you used to go out, right? And your mother and father didn't worry about you, right? The only
Right.
one rule that they gave you was make sure you're home before the street light lamp goes up, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, we were free willy. I mean, you and I remember we used to
Yeah.
go, and me, your brothers, Javier, Willie, we
Yeah.
used to go with the gang down to Coney Island
Yeah. I still remember
constantly,
those stories.
right? We used to go down to Coney Island. Mom and dad didn't even care or worry about us because there was
Right.
nothing to worry about. Today is a little different, right?
Yeah.
Today we fear many things, right? These young
Yeah.
kids today, unfortunately, these young kids have it bad because they don't have the same freedom that we used to have. So
Yeah.
that being said, watching that movie, it made me into that person where I felt like, it doesn't really hurt to be nice.
Yeah.
And it made me change my views on people in general. And I
Yeah.
think if you watch this movie, I guarantee you, if it doesn't touch you, I don't know what will.
Yeah. And
Because
the
it is
beauty
that
is,
strong.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And the thing about it is, right, I went in knowing, okay, I looked at the cast and I was like, holy crap, that's like you know what I mean? Especially in that time, right? We're talking about Kevin Spacey, we're talking about Helen Hunt, like, and then obviously Joel Osment, Haley Joe, I think is his name. Everybody knows him from Sixth Sense, right? I See Dead People.
Yeah, yep,
That's
yep.
that kid. You know what I mean? And then obviously there's pretty strong cast behind them. But I'm like, okay. So I already went in there, like, and besides the fact, my brother Sammy, right, already said, you got to watch this. And that's the things I feel like, I don't know. I don't know when you gave me that recommendation, I have no idea if you even thought that I would actually go and watch it because, a lot of people talk, right? Like, people talk and we talk to each other. And sometimes we just, like, we've come to the point where we've expected other people not to listen to us, right? Like,
Mhm.
like if you go through this world long enough, you're like, man, I keep talking and talking. And like, I feel like the percentage of people that actually listen is so low. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? Right now, we're bombarded with so many things coming at us, right? So many messages, sometimes conflicting messages, right? Not messages from our mommy and papi, right? Or people that we should be listening to. We're listening to, Joe Schmo or whoever, Jane Doe or whatever, what have you. And we're like, wait a minute. All of a sudden, I'm like, you think I'm not? I would listen to a little girl, a little 9-year-old, right? I always talk about this story, Sammy, because I go out walking on my neighborhood, and sometimes I get the most reactions and the most comments about like the hacks or my appearance from little kids. And they're surprised when they go and when they go and they say something and I stop and I listen to what they're saying. I have a conversation with them. They're like, holy crap, what the heck's going on? Like you know what I mean? Like they had the courage to say something, right? Which is something that's not right. It's not easy. And then when you actually have a conversation with them, they're like, holy crap, this person treated me like a human being. You know what I mean? Like I'm just,
Mhm.
a silly kid, right? At least they think, but you're like, no, they're not. So, right, obviously that connects to this movie. But like that little girl, I think she was like 9 or 10. She stopped me and said, hi. And I said, hi. Like, Mister, do you kidnap children? Because she saw a guy with a hat and she was like, in her mind, she saw so many movies. She saw the bad guy. She saw me and was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy that my parents told me I should be like on the lookout for. Or somebody told me, right? Society told me. But still, she still had the courage to say hi and ask me. And I'm like, no, little girl, I do not kidnap children. but at the same time, don't talk to strangers. Listen to your mommy.
Right.
And I think she was Latino, so I said, listen to your mommy and your papi, because they probably told you not to talk to strangers. And I said bye, and then she blew my mind with that, bro. She blew my mind. And it's supposed to tell you like how we treat, and we do that to old people too. That's even the most criminal stuff, right? So, right, somebody that got a 1 or 0 in front of the age, we discount them. Okay, I get it. I know what, but then if you got an 8 or a 9 in front of your age, we also discount people. And I'm like, that's criminal to me. Like, why wouldn't you want to go and listen to somebody that got an 8 or a 9 in front of their age?
It's crazy because if you think about it, right? I don't know. My perspective in life is this, right? And maybe you can resonate to this. Maybe other people can resonate to this. But the way I look at life right now, and for many years, like I'm not talking at my age of 57 now.
Yeah.
I'm talking. I've been thinking like this since I was like in my 20s.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe it.
And the way I think is this, right? Like I can't obviously talk when I'm 20 now, but I'm 57. But here's the way I look at it, and maybe this will kind of resonate a little bit with you in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm 57, right? Now I remember when I was 8, like if it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Now think about that for a second. I'm 57. The earliest I can remember, I could say 5, but it's very little something. I remember Pee Wee, right? T-ball, age 5. But what I can remember best is age 8, right?
Yeah.
If you think about that, 857, that's 49 years.
Right.
49 years, right?
Right.
If 49 years have passed me up that fast, what makes me think that 20 is not going to go even faster?
Yeah.
Now, thinking about the 20, I'm 57. 20 years from now, I'll be 77.
Right.
Yeah. Right? So I don't have much time to waste.
Yeah.
Because I've just gone through 49 years and it went that fast.
Right.
So if I take half of that, which is 20, right? It's a little bit less than that. But if I just take 20, I put myself in the 77-year age bracket. Now, again, if 49 years went that fast, what makes you think, or what makes me think that 20 is not going to go even faster? That being said, I don't have time to waste. So I have to channel in everything I do. I have to be prepared to do things that I normally wouldn't do, which means you have to live life, right?
Yeah.
And again, a movie like this kind of propels you for things like that because you don't have much time left, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I get to live to be 100.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get there, but if I do, great. But the point is, we don't value time as much or as best as we want to that we should, right? And time is very important because what you do today reflects you tomorrow. What you don't do today, like you always say and you hear, right? Don't leave things for tomorrow, the things that could be done today, right? And you mentioned about our seniors, right?
Right.
Our loved ones, right? We lost our brother.
Yeah.
2018, and I'm telling you, I've never in my life experienced a loss as great as that. Like I've lost my grandmother, I lost my grandfather, right, from my mother's side, and that's kind of like you not expect, but you're kind of like you're absorbed into that because you figure, well, they're old, you know what I mean, and it's kind of like it's not acceptable, but you kind of like take it a little bit easier. But when you lose a young brother, like my brother was 53, right? Our brother was 53 when he passed away. I'm 57 now. I'm the second youngest out of, there's 7 of us. I'm the middle one.
Right.
But, when you lose somebody that young, it didn't hit me. And you probably know this because during his wake, obviously I was out of it because I had to handle his estate. after doing everything I had to do plus work at the same time, you
Yeah.
know, it didn't really hit me till like the day of the birth.
Yeah.
And to be honest, bro, I don't even remember seeing you that Saturday. I
Yeah.
know you were
I don't
there.
remember seeing you, but I remember seeing what, like, oh man, Sammy's got something. You know what I mean? It was one of those things I'm like, Sammy's on a mission. You know what I mean? Like you had the look about you that you got other stuff. So I'm like, okay, obviously it might not be the appropriate venue to try to do like the catching up, the chit chat, but there were a couple times we saw each other, but I understood. And then after, right, we just recently had a conversation about everything you were going through. And I'm like, okay, everything fell in place in my mind because I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that look that you had. You know what I mean? It's not that you were mean or trying to keep people away. It was that you were on a mission. You looked like, we were talking about Blues Brothers. You were on a mission from God. You know what I mean? Like when somebody's on a mission, you kind of know that face, right? And they got stuff going on. So you're like, all right, let me give the space, right? And then at the time, when the appropriate time, and we never had a conversation right after that, but we had one really good one, but several really good ones just recently. I'm like, man, that like put everything in perspective about what you were going through, and then what obviously how you feel today, right? Like the man that you are today. Those things make us, right? That you can't. It's not everything doesn't happen in isolation, right? These things all stack, right? And then your brain has to make sense. Like, hey, I grew up thinking this way. Now I got to pivot, And sometimes we don't pivot, right? Sometimes we just make little turns or little shifts, right?
We make
Sometimes
excuses.
yeah. What's that?
We make excuses.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that, bro. We make a lot of excuses, and one of the things that I talk about, because you mentioned it, is time, right? We know that time is precious. We know that it's valuable, right? Obviously, you're spending your time here with me. That's the greatest gift, right? You can't write me a check that's worth this time. It doesn't exist. That money don't exist, right? You talk to somebody like Warren Buffett, multi billionaire. I talk about him a lot, not because he's rich, but because he's 90 something, right? He just happens to have multi-billions. He would give all of it probably to be able to live 30, 40 years because, let's be honest, he's 90 something. No, people don't last that long. So, you got to be thinking that guy's a smart dude. He's thinking about that. And then you start thinking about all the silly ways we waste our time. And again, if it's with family, it's never a waste of time to me. And sometimes it's not even, I even go beyond that for like that little girl. I could have easily said, no, tune that little girl out. I got to go on my walk, right? And we do that. And when people talk to each other, even family, we go through the motions. You know what I mean? Even though people are dropping knowledge right in front of you, like the knowledge is right on the wall. Literally, you could go to a company, like go to the U.S. Post Office, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just to make it a perfect example, there's probably knowledge all over that John, right? Like to put it in Philly terms. Shout out to Philly. I dropped the John word. I didn't mean to, but it just came out. There's all over. Back in New York, we would say that joint, right? In New York, New Jersey, all over that joint. In Philly, they say John. I don't know. But there's knowledge literally all over the place. It's literally written on the walls, and we ignore it because we're just trained, right? We use heuristics. Our brains use heuristics to make shortcuts, to filter out a lot of garbage. And we do get a lot of garbage, and we filter it out. But sometimes we filter out good stuff, right? And that's what's called throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? And you don't want to do that because it's a beautiful baby, right? I always say that. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater because it's a beautiful baby. So don't tune me out because you don't like the delivery, right? You don't like the tone I use, right? I always had that. Chris, my son Chris is here. Oh, Patricia's here. What's up, Patricia?
Hey sis, how are you?
So my sister's here. It's a family affair. Like I said, we don't talk to each other as much as we would like, because everybody's doing their own thing, right? And the main thing is, if this channel existed, Patricia says good. All right. Well, I'll see you this week because I'm heading out to New York, I think tomorrow. So I'm gonna go visit. I already reached out to the bros and to the cousins. And we're gonna see if we can all get together, at least break some bread together. And then obviously,
don't take mom to Burger King.
no, we're not taking mom to Burger King. Nobody's gonna. If I take anybody to Burger King, I don't think
Patricia.
Oh, Patricia. Okay, don't take mom to Burger King. Okay, Patricia said that. Oh, so you can see the comments. Okay, good. Yeah. You know what? No, it's not going to happen. Sorry, mom. I didn't even know that she was eating Burger King. But now that I know that, I'm going to have to give her
Taco Bell's better.
There you go. You have a bean burrito at Taco Bell. You're better off eating a Burger King.
All right, Patricia. This one time. All right. That's it. No more.
You see how this is how family is, but you know what?
Taco Bell,
that's why teacher being the mom.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but I'll have words with mommy. In a nice way. Sometimes my voice gets elevated, and then mommy feels bad, and then I feel bad. I'm like, oh man.
You gotta listen first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't be a good speaker unless you listen.
You're not wrong. Like, no, she just ate McDonald's. Johnny loves Burger King. But that's my dad. Johnny's my dad. Papi, you're not gonna eat Burger King. Not around me.
Chipotle, Taco Bell, like those salad type things, Mexican things, that's pretty good with guacamole.
Yeah. Or we will we'll order in some bistec encebollado, or we got lots of restaurants. There's no reason to be eating Burger King. I don't even know if Burger King and McDonald's is pricey now. Like, inflation has gotten rid of like all the value meals and all that.
That's another show.
Yeah, exactly. We'll tackle inflation at the next show. You know what I mean? Hopefully that Sammy said that. He doesn't realize that I'm listening. He's like, oh, remember that time you said you're gonna make that next show with me? I'm listening. I got a full receipt on you, bro. Lo recibo. But back to the movie, just stay on topic. So we talked about how you first saw it. Now what I want to hear about is,
that's good.
Chick-fil-A. But they said 2 orders of Chick-fil-A with French fries and beverage, $25. There you go.
Well, Chick-fil-A is pretty good.
Can't be broke anymore.
No, Chick-fil-A is not a bad place.
Well, Chick-fil-A is good. Chick-fil-A is worth it. McDonald's, not so much. Yeah, fish fillet sandwich. All right, Patricia, you're reading off menus now. We're gonna have to cut off the menus. But yeah, when we have the menu show, we'll bring that up. Sorry, Patricia, but yeah, All right, guys, you get some real family dynamics over here. Mom's in the car. She said hello to. Aw, hi, mommy. So yeah, again, sorry about that, guys. But I'm not really sorry. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing that to be nice. But I'll do that. I'll do this whole show, and I'll be like, "Mommy, how's everything going?" But we'll keep it back. We'll keep it back on topic. What I wanted to talk about is, like, right. So we talked, right? I called this show, and now this is going to be a new series, right? You did me a favor basically with this recommendation, because it gave me the inspiration for the name for the series, which is, Pyramid Stream, right? And the reason why I did that, right? Because the first thing I saw when I saw Trevor's idea, right? Because you described it, right? The pyramid, people use that for many ways, right? Sometimes they use it to scam people. That's called the pyramid scheme, right? But it's such a beautiful way that this movie went and took that pyramid, that idea of pyramid scheme, or MLM, right? Depending on how you come at it. And they used it as a pyramid scheme for good, or what I like to use, pyramid stream, right? Like, maybe, right? Like the word euphemism. That was one of the words that was talked about, right? Because we know that Mr. Simonette, right? Eugene Simonette, played by Kevin Spacey, he's a guy that has trauma. And part of that trauma is, right, he educated himself. He goes and he teaches kids, and he makes sure that he elevates their vocabulary. So even in fighting, right, he was fighting with Trevor's mom, Arlene, and she said, "Oh, you're something. You're really something." He said, "Oh, I always wanted to be a euphemism." And then it cuts to her going looking up euphemism right before going to work to find out because she didn't even know what he meant when he said euphemism. And I thought that was very beautiful. You know what I mean? Like,
I think in general, like, and again, you got to watch the movie because
yeah,
if you watch the movie, you understand exactly. Even though
yeah,
we're kind of, it seems like we're going in different directions with some of the things that we're speaking on, but
yeah,
it really has a lot to do with that movie, right? Because
yeah,
my perspective of it, what I've shared with you at this moment has been
yeah,
because of that movie is shaped me into who I am and the way I
yeah,
think, the way I move right today, right?
yeah,
And like I said, in today's environment, right, you have so many things going wrong in
yeah.
this world,
The
especially
world
in
is
this
shit. That was what they came from thing. Yeah,
especially in this country, right? We have so many people, pulling up stuff out of nowhere and
yeah,
dividing people, right? This is not what this country was built on, right? This country was
right.
built on, progress and all that stuff.
And
But
optimism.
right, but it's always been. I mean, at least me growing up, it's always been to help your fellow neighbors, right? You
Yeah,
help somebody else. Like even to be honest, like I said, for me, it's like when I help somebody, I don't look to get repaid back because I
yeah,
do it because even though, I believe in God, I have faith in God, I don't go to church. I don't.
yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I
yeah,
said, but I do believe in Jesus Christ. And I do
yeah,
believe that there is a Savior out there. And
yeah.
I feel like when I do things, I do it because that's what my Lord wants me to do, right?
Right.
And when I do something for other people, like I give you an example. When I was a teenager,
Yeah,
my first wife, um, when I met her, I would get up early in the morning when it was snowing and just shovel my mother-in-law's car
yeah,
because I knew she was a single mother with her only daughter, which is my girlfriend
yeah,
at the time. I knew how difficult it would be for her to get up to go get to work. I would go get up, and literally by the time she got out to go to work, her car was shoveled out
yeah,
because I was out there and I did it.
yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. I look at it like, if I can do something for someone else in good, I'm not looking to be on somebody's good reports
Right.
radar or whatever. It was just something that I did it because I knew that that's what God wants me to do, right? Is
Yeah,
help other people,
yeah,
right? And I'll tell you a story.
yeah.
You know,
Do that, please.
that's going back as when I was 19.
Yeah,
When I was 22, right? Now, obviously, 21, you could start drinking, right? Legally.
right.
I went into a bar, right? A local bar in my old neighborhood. And I sat there and I was having a couple drinks. I don't drink. I'm not, and to this point, to
Yeah,
this day, I don't drink. I really don't. I'm a social drinker. Like I'll drink,
right.
my little, I don't really like champagne or vino, but
Yeah,
if they offer it to me in a social event, I'll drink it because if it's free, that's for me. Right.
yeah. That's right. I
Um,
love it.
but 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 to be honest, at 22 years old, I went to this bar and just sit there. I just order one of my drinks and then I'm drinking it, and then I got a couple of older gentlemen sitting
Yeah,
next to me, to my left of me, and we started talking. Now I'm 22. This guy's probably in his 50s, right? And this man, and they used to call me mailman, right?
yeah,
Obviously, I work for the postal service, right? And this man turns to me and he says to me, "Cartero," meaning mailman in Spanish.
yeah,
He says, if you step outside there, out those doors, and something happens to you, meaning if somebody started trouble with me,
yeah.
I'll be the first one out there to help." And I looked at him, I'm like, this 50-something-year-old man is telling a
Right.
22-year-old guy that if I was to step outside, that he would see me in trouble, that he would come out and help me.
Yeah,
That, like, it made it clear that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing at 22.
yeah,
Now think about that. A grown man telling me he would fight for me if I got into trouble out there. If somebody
Yeah.
wanted to fight with me.
Yeah.
That kind of like, honestly, I had a little tear in my eye because I'm a sensitive guy. As big as I am, right? As big as I am, I'm a sensitive man. I have,
Yeah.
I have female traits, right? Like with this female cry.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But I'm sensitive. I'm a
Yeah.
sensitive man. I have a huge heart because
Yeah.
I've always had a thing for people. Always. And again, till this day I still do. When that man told me that, that gave me a solidifying, right?
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing, Sam. You got older people saying that they'll go out of their way, they'll even risk their life to save you. You're on the right path. And this
Yeah.
is after watching that movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this movie, right? I've seen this movie, and again, it made me a clearer picture when I saw the movie. It made me a clearer picture of why you have to treat people the way
Right.
you want to be treated, right? We always hear that.
Yeah.
You got to treat people the way you want to be treated.
That's right.
Does it come back and reciprocate back to you sometimes? No, it doesn't. No,
But in general,
yeah, but you can't let that one person or group of people defy or change your ways. You have
yeah.
to continue to keep doing quote unquote God's work, right?
Yeah.
Because I always say to people, everything I do is a blessing for me because
Yeah.
God sees what I'm doing.
Right.
God knows, and I could tell you stories like when my life was in jeopardy
Yeah.
that I feel like God was there for me.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because, again, you don't have to go to church, right?
Right.
Be a religious person, but you have to have faith. And if you don't have
Yeah.
faith, then you're going to have an uphill battle with life
Yeah.
in general. And for me, I'm always even killed. I mean, I could tell you many people who tell me, give me nice words. It's like, you're different. And you know
Yeah.
what? I like to be different, right?
Yeah.
I have to be like, even for Halloween, you just talked about Halloween this past
Yeah.
weekend. I saw your video, you know. I always tell people for Halloween, I don't dress up. I don't.
Yeah.
When I go into a Halloween party, I always go as me because there's only one,
Yeah.
right? There's no
Right.
need for me to be Joker, Batman, Superman. I
Right.
go in as me,
Yeah.
right? There's nobody on the face of this planet that has this costume,
This
right?
is true. So one of
So,
a kind.
so again, you know, the way you look at life has to be what's built for you, but at the same time, you have to also be conscious about other people as well.
Yeah.
Because not everybody sees the same light you see. And
Right.
sometimes they do need a little help, like this young kid did in this movie.
Yeah.
It took a little boy to open up the
Exactly.
eyes of millions of people. Right?
Yeah.
And again, I encourage you all to watch this movie.
Yeah. And obviously we're avoiding stuff, but I always tell these folks, don't go watching one of my shows if you don't expect spoilers because the movie, right? Meaning you could always stop, right? Meaning you could press, stop and then watch this later on, right? If you're somebody that gets weirded out by spoilers, well then stop and then go watch the movie and then come back and watch this in syndication, right? After the live stream's over. But I agree with Sammy that and man, wow, your stories you told me, and again, I think it's people are natural storytellers, especially right, tribal people, right? We come from tribal people, right? You gotta come with a story to explain things. You gotta come up with a story about what happened to me, and it's always entertaining. That's the thing about it. Like when Sammy tells a story or my mom tells a story, my dad, there's always a lot of entertainment in it, right? Because even if it's not a funny situation, you'll say something funny about it. You're like, oh, that last time, man, I almost shit at myself, I had to change my shorts, and you can start laughing. We do that stuff because Well, one, it's good to be entertaining too. That's also part of the person. It's good to smile because sometimes, man, that smile could be what breaks the barrier, right?
I'll tell you, listen, right now, and I've worked my entire life, right, up until this point, to be
Yeah.
retired at 57, right? It wasn't an easy thing to do, but as I mentioned before when we spoke, my wife being sick, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much struggle she was going through
Right.
until I took that leap and just retired. Now that I'm here every single day, I can see the difficulty she has, right?
Right.
So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to put in a long career and do what I have to do for 37 years. But I'm also even more grateful that I was able to bow out at the right time for the
Yeah.
right reason, right? It wasn't, I didn't think about me, I was thinking about her,
Right.
and even though, I'm not a millionaire, right? I don't live lavishly. I don't have a Corvette, which is my dream
Right.
car, right? Uh, I always said, you know what? Everything I do, I have to do it not just for me, but I have to do it for her. I have to do it for the kids. I have to do it for
That's
my
right.
family. I have to do it for those that are around me. And I'm telling you, I, I I live my life based on two things that equal one thing, right? And what I
Right.
mean by that is, right, the you can perceive yourself to be a specific person, right? That's my perception. My perception, I own that, right?
Right.
Your reputation is what other people think about you, right? Now, those two together should build your character, right?
Right.
And if those two align with one another, then your character should be solid.
Yeah.
And this is what, you know, having a character, the way you have, based on your reputation, your perception of yourself, having that character, that good quality character, should not be hard for you to find that same love that that kid had in
Yeah.
that movie, right? Which is
Right.
he felt love for everybody. He treated everybody the same. So
Yeah.
for me, it's the same thing, right? For me, I have to treat everybody the same way as I love myself. Like I would tell my kids, love yourself first, right? Before you
Yes.
love other people.
That's right.
But at the same time, leave a little room to bring somebody in because you never know what people are going through, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to, as I said earlier, you have to be able to listen, right,
Yeah.
without speaking, meaning let the person speak so that you can hear what they're telling you or the story they want to tell you because you can learn a lot from whatever they're telling you, but you
Right.
have to be able to listen, right? And that's what that kid was doing. That kid was doing his speaking, but he wanted to be heard. And he did
Right.
it in the more subtle way, which was what do people enjoy the most, right? And you
Right.
know this. What do
Mhm.
people, and I said it earlier, right? If it's free, that's for me, right?
Yeah.
What do people love the most? Free stuff,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
So if you're willing to give somebody free advice, free, funds, or
Right.
free assistance, right?
Yeah.
People gravitate to that because they absorb that because they
Yeah.
realize that, oh, I don't have to pay for this.
Right.
It's so easily the way you got it. It's so easily you could do the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
and and again, advice is free. Helping other people is free.
Yeah.
Do some people appreciate it more than others? Yeah,
Right.
but at the same time, it's the heartfelt, acknowledgement. I don't do it for clout. I don't do it to be repaid anything. I can tell you right
Right.
now, personally, I have thousands of dollars out there that people owe me. I do,
Right.
but I don't go collecting
Right.
because, in my opinion, the way I look at it is, for example, I have a friend who owes me about $1,000.
Yeah.
Right? We could walk down the street of each other on the opposite side of the street. I guarantee he won't look at
Right.
me, right? Because of the $1,000. But for me, I'd look at him and be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not trying to be cheesy and trying to remind him that he owes me 1,000 because here's
Right.
the way I look at it. The way I look at it is, you know, I loaned you $1,000, or I gave you. I'm gonna put it that I gave you a
Right.
thousand dollars because you need it, right? If your friendship is worth $1,000, I don't want to be your friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? I asked my daughter the other day. I says, in your lifetime, your 26 years of lifetime, living with me in my house, our house with my wife. I said, have you ever seen anybody come into my house? She's like, no.
Right.
She's like, so what are you saying? I says, I don't have friends. Not that I don't have friends, is I don't tie myself up to people that
Right.
much. Because to me, you know, friends are only a hand in the pocket sometimes, to be honest.
Right.
But not to say that I don't, you know, hang out with people. I don't jive with people. I do. It's just I keep my distance because I separate my home from what's out there. Right?
Yeah.
Do I need what's out there? Not necessarily. I said, but every now and then, you go out, you step
Yeah.
out, you just, do what men do, which is enjoy yourself, right?
Correct.
Without going crazy. But
Yeah.
again, that movie to me made me realize, being confident in yourself and also helping other people.
Yeah.
And because of that movie, I changed my ways drastically to the point where, I felt like I should be doing more. And even to this day, I still feel like I'm short of a dollar,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't change the way I do things. Like I still, even though I'll go down to the corner gas station here. Nice guy that I met there.
Yeah.
He likes music and stuff. So I
Yeah.
said to him, I says, I got some music if you want. He says,
Yeah.
sure. So I says, just get me a hard drive and I'll give you all my music. I got about
Yeah.
200,000 songs. So I says, boom. He gives me the drive. I give it to him. Every day, this guy calls me by my name now.
That's
You
awesome.
see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like sometimes, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be nice to somebody else,
That's
right?
right.
Even if you just say like mine when I was a manager before I retired, my employees, I used to say to my employees, "Hey, I'm glad you came into work today.
Right.
I'm happy or awesome job." Like I say, thank you, out of the blue, and they're like, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, I appreciate you, right?
Right.
People don't understand the power of what two simple words could
Yeah.
mean to somebody else. Like thank you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Or I love you, right? Or God bless you, right?
Right.
People don't understand the power of just simple words, how you
Yeah.
could change somebody's life. Like the
Yep.
other day I was on TikTok and I kid you not, um, probably off topic for this, but
I don't worry.
it,
This is top is life.
but it kind of resonates to who I am as a person, right?
Yeah.
Because again, who I am as you're hearing me now is because of that movie that we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, right? So I go on TikTok and I see this older lady, right? And again, I'm just crazy. I don't know what her issue. I didn't really get the gist of what her main issue was, but
Yeah.
this older lady, I would say in her early 60s, was thinking about unaliving herself,
Yeah.
right? And that hit me because I'm like, no, you can't do that. Like you can't quit. I didn't know what the story was, but she called herself grandma on TikTok.
Right.
So I felt the need to write her a nice little message, right?
Yeah.
I told her, you can't, we need you, we love you, grandma. I don't know this person from Adam, but
Right.
I did say, we love you, grandma. We still want to see your content, da 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 da. You know, and I even offered a prayer. I wrote a prayer for her just so that she could, you know,
Yeah.
come back down and relax. And then she saw a lot of people followed up with other. I wasn't the only one. There was like thousands
Yeah.
probably. Her video went viral, and then thousands of people started going on there. And then before you know it, the next morning I sent her a message saying, "I'm just following up to make sure you're okay." Da 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 da. And she replied back, "I'm doing okay. Thank you for the message. It was beautiful. You touched me." Blah, blah. And that's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The simplest of things that
Right.
you can do for someone else would change their whole life altogether. Now
Yeah.
she's still with us, thank God, right?
Wow.
But think about that. Total strangers, just
Right.
like out of the blue, just like want to unalive herself.
Yeah.
And then just the simple that you got thousands of people like me and others just sent her a comment, like an encouragement comment that changed her way of thinking. Because
Yeah.
all it takes is one. But if you got
Right.
multiple and thousands of people following up doing the same thing, right? That's a positive trend. And that's
Yeah.
what this movie got me thinking because
Yeah.
not only did it got me thinking about me, but not only about me, about other people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you got out of it. I'm sure it's probably something close to that, but I'm telling you, I've been with this movie since it first came out,
Yeah.
and I've lived my life based on this movie.
Yeah. That's power. Like I said, I remember you mentioning that, and I'm like, all right, I'm already sold, right? Like I didn't know who was in it, right? It didn't matter. Sammy thought this was was that powerful. I'd be stupid not to watch this movie. And I watched it right away that night.
Yep,
Literally, I
I
said, we're
remember.
getting that movie. I told you, I said, I just
And I
want to
told you,
go.
I told you to tell me when you finish watching it, right?
Exactly. Well,
You
right,
did.
right, right. Yeah. And I mean, I followed through because again, it's one of those things I'm like, just to have somebody follow through, I think sends a message, right? Like it's communicating, right? We're communicating in so many ways, right? Actions speak louder than words, right? When I go and I tell you, I'm like, and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm like, you think I'm joking with you? Quiz me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll do that, and I won't say it, but I'll think. I'm like, I hope he tries to quiz me because I want to show him that I've seen the movie, and because I said I made it a priority. And that's the thing. I could have said, "Oh yeah, I'll watch that when I watch it." You know what I mean? And then what'll happen? Life will happen.
But see,
I'll be wrapped up in work.
but see, I see you. You were already there. I see the way you carry yourself. You were already there. You just need an extra. You're doing the right thing, kind of thing. Which is
Yeah.
why, like when I give people move like that, like believe me, I've shared this movie review with everybody that's come.
Yeah.
That if I felt like you needed it, not because I needed to change your ways,
Right.
it's because I see how you're thinking, how you feel, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you're there because this is why I wanted you to see it because I wanted
Yeah.
you to see to validate that what you're doing is not wrong. What you're doing
Yeah.
is actually a good thing, right?
Yeah.
The same thing, like for example, we all know death is not something that we 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 like, right? Especially when you lose loved ones, it's a difficult
Right.
moment, right?
Right.
There's this one thing, and to this day, I'm telling you, over 27 years, and again,
Right.
I'm telling you my life story here because if it could help somebody else, I'm
Yeah.
good. Like I could go
Right.
tomorrow. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Right.
at peace with what I've put on this planet, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have no regrets at all. Um, when I when I saw this one email back in the AOL days, again, I'm dating myself here, right? I saw this one email I got in the junk email. I don't know what happened, but I just happened to click. I guess I must
Mhm.
have opened it by mistake,
Yeah.
right? But I opened it and I started reading it, and it was a long story, right? A
Mm.
long story. I don't know what made my eyes lock into that email, even though it was junk email on the junk folder. I read it, and again, watching the pay it forward movie. Remember, my mindset has already changed because of that movie.
Mhm.
I'm watching this. I'm not looking at this email, and I see this. The story was about an infant that passed away.
Yeah.
And it hit me because it was a baby, right? And this couple or this young lady was suffering. Like
Right.
she felt like she suffered so much that she put it on an email, and somehow I got it. I don't know how, but I got it.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it, and I'm reading it, and of course, like I said, I shed a tear because
Yeah.
when it involves a child that had no power of their own to battle through what they were battling through, that they passed away, you know,
Right.
it was touching. And let me tell you that in there was a poem. And the poem started out with, "When tomorrow starts without
Mm.
me." And if you look up that poem, it's a very popular poem.
Yeah.
I've kept that poem for over 26 years,
Wow.
right? And every time a loved one or a friend or somebody, I would pass that poem to that person.
Yeah.
Because if you read it, I don't know if you want to look it up, um, but when you read it, it's as if the person is speaking to you,
Yeah.
right? And
What's it
I
called
felt
then?
when tomorrow starts without
When tomorrow starts without me. I'm gonna at least I'm just gonna at least put it on here. That way I have it as to look it up for, when tomorrow
starts without me.
starts without me. Okay, perfect. All right. Go ahead. I'm
So
sorry, Sam.
so so that poem resonated with me because I felt the baby, right? I felt the baby speaking to me. And I
Right.
feel like that's what that mother felt. That the poem was speaking to her through the baby, right? That the baby was speaking to her through the poem. So anyway, read the whole thing. I kept it because I thought it was so beautiful. I kept that poem and I've been using it ever since. The baby's name was Alyssa.
Melissa. Oh, all right.
Now think
Interesting.
about that.
Yeah.
Think
Wow.
about that. My youngest name is,
Alyssa.
that's right. So when
Man.
my daughter was born, guess who I named my daughter after?
Wow.
The little
Wow.
baby.
Shout out to Alyssa too, man. She's doing, she's doing it up, man. I love, like I said, I love all my nieces and nephews. They don't all know me that well, right? But they could go watch this channel and they could go right without having to even make one phone call. They watch this channel, and they'll know who I am. Like it don't take that long. You don't have to watch all the videos. You watch one video, you probably get an idea of who I am because it don't change. I don't change who I am when I walk out the door or when I hit end stream, right? I've always been right. I may be right. I was always the little fat boy, always laughing. I had the all crooked teeth, right? So I got the teeth straightened out. I lost a little bit of weight. I still got some ways to go, but I still am the same person. With yeah, exactly. We're still rocking them, right? Or like Bobby likes to say, we're rocking with these hands. Right? I don't. I say that, but I don't do it. Bobby will do it. Shout out to Bobby. I love you, but I love you, bro. I love watching Bobby doing his thing right now. Because I know his art, right? I know the Bobby, right? Right. He's the one that lived with us the longest, right? When Bobby was doing his thing out in
I mean,
Patterson.
I mean, I mean, let me tell you something. Now that you're
Yeah,
talking on him,
yeah,
you could ask him, right? You know, my little brother is a
yeah,
thoroughbred. You know that.
yeah,
When I
yeah,
tell you that that kid changed his life,
yeah,
right?
for real.
You know because of who? Right?
Hey, I don't doubt it.
Because
I don't doubt
because
it.
because let me tell you something. When I could be tough, I could be tough.
Yeah,
And that little kid right there, I call him my baby brother. Even though when you look at him, he look like Fat Joe, right?
yeah,
I tell him all the time. In fact, my brothers all call me. Like all my
yeah,
other brothers, Eli, Johnny, and
yeah,
Nelson when he was alive, they would
yeah.
all call me and say, "Yo, you need to talk to your brother." I'm like, "What are you talking about? He's your brother too." He's like,
Right.
"No, he don't listen to me. He only listens to you." But when I tell you again, that movie, everything I'm talking to you about is the reason I am who I am.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I could change people, right? Sometimes tough love, sometimes it's, you got to give them a little golden hand. When I tell you this kid used to go in and out of the system, right?
Yeah.
It's an understatement. But there was
Right.
that one time I didn't see him for 2 years. 2 years. And I told him before he went in the last time, I said, if you go in one more time, don't expect to see me. Don't ask me for crap. Don't send me letters. Don't do nothing. I ain't
Yeah.
doing nothing. And I used to go all out, see him every weekend, twice a week. I used to give him whatever he needed, walk his CDs, whatever, during that time. He was
Yeah.
young. And when he fell again, 2 years, right? My hair had grown so long up to here.
Yeah.
That one day my mom was going for his birthday, right? His birthday was May 21st. And I said to her, where you going, Mom? She's like, I'm going to go see Mom. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's been 2 years I haven't seen him. I said, I don't want you to go by yourself. I said, come on, I'll take you.
Yeah.
When I walked up in there and he saw me after 2 years, I don't respond to his letters. I don't take his calls. I don't visit him. I don't send him anything. Not even white t-shirts. He didn't get nothing from me.
Yeah.
He looked at me. He grabbed me by my hair because I had long hair at the time until I passed it. And he says to me, he's like, oh, man, I thought I'd never see you again. I said, yo, I made a promise and I kept it. I
Yeah.
said, you're lucky today's your birthday. And you're lucky Mom's coming down here. You're
Yeah.
lucky that I didn't want her to come by herself.
Yeah.
So we started chopping it up. Like I let him go because he was so
Yeah.
glad that he saw me after 2 years.
Yeah.
That he started promising me all these things. And I said to
Get
him,
receipts, right? You keep the receipts.
I said, you know what? You could cut the bullshit right now. Stop talking because you say all these things, and when you come out, guess what? You'll be back in here before you know it.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, when he came out, he made a promise to me. When he came out, he's been out ever since.
Yeah.
And to this day, anything that kid does, like I'm so proud of him at the man he is, at the father he's become, you know. And I tell him all the time. I said, "Listen, I'm proud of you." You know, he wanted to get a new charger. You want?
Right.
Nobody was co-signing for him. I
Yeah.
said, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Because if that was going to help him become a
Right.
better person, I'm all for it. I
Right.
co-signed for him, got him his charger. He
Yeah.
To this day, the kid can never thank me enough for that. And I
Yeah.
said, all I did was co-sign, bro. Like
Yeah.
you did it. You needed it at home. I just helped you. He was
Yeah.
like, oh, but you don't understand. I appreciate it because I never understood the importance of credit and all that stuff. I said, now you got it. Now he's got his own house. He's got
Yeah.
multiple houses.
You're doing
Right?
great. Beautiful family.
He's doing good.
Man,
He's doing good.
what a beautiful family.
So again, the simplest things that you could do, and me was just co-signing alone,
Yeah.
changed his whole life,
Yeah.
right? And the paying forward is the same thing. The simplest things that you can do for someone else can change the trajectory of their life completely. And all you have to do is just one simple thing.
Yeah.
Be kind, right? Be resourceful because sometimes you have to be. Sometimes you have to give up something of yours so that other people can propel. I'm
Right.
not saying give away your bank account. What I'm saying is if it's $100 that somebody needs at some
Yeah.
point
That's not.
and
Yeah.
you have it sitting there, why not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah. Let-
again, the way I look at it is when it comes to money, if I feel like I can do it without impacting my family, I do it
Why
because
not?
it
Exactly.
means that much to that person. And if I care about that person that much, I would want that person not to suffer, like not to fall on hard times. I would
Yeah.
do it because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the way I look at it, like I said, what I give out, I'm going to get it 10,000 times back
Exactly.
in
Right.
blessings. You know
And
what I
you
mean?
get it. You get it sometimes even like immediately, just in the feeling that you get.
exact, and I feel good, especially like now. I don't take, I don't take like, I don't go around saying that my brother is the way he is because of me. Right?
Yeah.
I did say that earlier a few minutes ago, but it was
Well, no,
only to
yeah,
it was only to prove a point. But
yeah,
I don't say, oh, if it was because of me, you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't do that
yeah.
because at the end of the day, all I did was jumpstart. Like I was just
Right.
the
Yeah.
positive, negative
You already
to
had the
them
raw
that
materials, right? He had
exactly,
the raw materials, and you just basically did the you did the, like I said, the catalyst.
exactly,
You're the catalyst.
exactly, and that was the whole point. The whole point is that this movie had propelled me to be that person. And again, I'm saying it again, probably you heard me earlier, you know, it doesn't hurt to be kind to other people, right?
Yeah,
If you can just put a smile on somebody's face, right? You don't know what those people are going through,
yeah,
right? All you need to do is do one simple thing, a kind gesture, a kind action, a kind,
yeah,
conversation. Sometimes people would resonate to what you're saying, but maybe take it to another level. Like
yeah,
you could be saying something as simple as um, you say something, and then from that they understood that, and they're like, "Oh, I never even thought about that,"
yeah,
and take it from there and run with it and do something bigger that later on you're not going to know about it because obviously that. But I guarantee you, if that
yeah.
person goes to the moon, I guarantee you one day when you run into each other, that person can say,
Right.
"Remember that day you told me that?" Because
Yeah,
like I'm gonna tell you my one I'm glad moment that happened to me when I was a
yeah,
kid that made me be the way I. Because other than this movie, that one time that I wasn't a saint when I was a kid. I'll be the first to admit.
right.
Okay, I used to do my little stupid stuff when I was 8 years old. Right, and that's how I can tell you when I said earlier that I can remember when I was 8 to where I am now 57. Right, I can
Right.
remember 8 because there was one incident that happened when I was 8 that will never ever change my mind. Like I will
Yeah.
never leave my mind. And that was the day that I was caught shoplifting.
Mm,
I'm being raw, right?
yeah,
When I got caught and they called my mother, and my mother came down, I was standing right next to the cop.
yeah,
And my mother came to me and said to me, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, stupid stuff that I was
yeah.
doing. I was stealing like stupid kid
Right,
stuff, toys, right?
right.
And then my mother came and slapped the shit out of me in front of that cop.
Yep.
Those are the old days. They can't do that now, but my
Yeah.
mother slapped the shit out of me in front of that cop. And when I looked at that cop and I looked at him, I was like, "You ain't going through shit." And what my mother said, what came out of my mother's mouth was even more shocking.
Yeah.
My mother said to the cop, because the cop did say to her, "You can't do that, man." My mother
Right.
said, "You see that kid right there?" I said, "He came out of right here. And you ain't gonna tell me how to raise my child."
Yeah.
And I put my little raccoon winter jacket on, like the hood.
Right.
I covered my face. And I knew that when I was getting back home, I was gonna get an ass whooping like crazy. So I
Yeah.
just took off. I was like, "Man, this cop didn't do shit, right?" So
Yeah.
anyway, years have passed by. From that day forward, I never did that shit again. Number one,
Yeah.
years gone by, and I might have been in my late 20s, early 30s, and I thought about that, and I
Yeah.
said to myself, "You know what? I never even thanked my mother for that." So
Yeah.
one day I went to my mom and I said, "Hey, mom, you remember that day you slapped the shit out of me in front of that cop?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, you had it coming." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Thank you, mom." And
Yeah.
she looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "Thank you," because had it not been for that smack, God knows where I would have been.
Yeah.
And again, you think about it later in life, and you start reflecting back. Like I like to reflect back on a lot of my old stuff because
Right.
I mean I could tell you stories. I'm telling you, like stories that you would be shocked to even know.
Yeah.
I've had guns put to my face, like
Yeah.
between my eyes,
Yeah.
and and I count the fact that for me, because of who I am and how I handle myself, how I carry myself, I feel like God is always on my right hand side.
Yeah.
And this is why that movie resonates so well for me, right?
Right.
Because to me, if I feel like as though if you do good, if you do well, not just for yourself but for other people, you know, it gets noticed. You
Yeah.
don't want. I mean, I don't want the notoriety. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
You said it right.
I don't want the fame. I don't want none
Yeah.
of that. I don't want the kudos. I don't want none of that. I
Yeah.
do it because you know what? It's here, right?
Right.
And what made me mushy here is that movie because
Yeah.
that movie showed me that there's far bigger things in life than self preservation, right? Self care that you could do the simplest things to anybody for
Right.
anybody, and you can literally change the world
Yeah.
one by one, three by three, whatever you want to, however you want to do it, right? And this movement, this movie, I don't know if you know, but this movie started that movement. You ever remember not too long ago, and it's been done for the last couple of years,
Yeah.
where you walk up to a drive-in and
And then you pay
somebody
for the person.
exactly
Oh man. What's the
this
movie?
this movie started that trend.
That's awesome. I love that.
And there were many instances where it went on for hours, right? That's been reported. It went on for hours. But this
Yeah.
movie started that trend
That's
where the
amazing.
person orders something and he says, whatever that person has, I'll pay their bill. And
Yeah.
then when they came up to the window, they're like, oh, don't worry about it. The guy in front paid. He also said for you to pay it forward for the guy behind you. And they paid
Nice.
it. And that's how that trend started. And you see
That's
it,
awesome. I
and you
love
can
that.
see it on videos like YouTube
Yeah.
and TikTok. That's where this thing started. It's because of this
And
movie.
and that's the thing. Life imitates art, but sometimes art imitates life, right? Like, and that reciprocal thing. But like for I'll tell you, right? Like obviously there be instances, right before I saw this movie, right? Because I just saw it recently for the first time when you recommended it. But there's already been instances after I watched this movie, right? So like just recently, you guys know about my hats and all that. But sometimes I'll get hats at thrift stores, right? Or what have you. I'll go and I'll look for them, or I'll just go shopping in general. Like I was out at a thrift store out close by to the house, and I go there. I start a conversation with like the cashier in Spanish, because there's a lot of Latinos that live here, and so I'll go and I do that, and I'm smiling, having a conversation. I'm leaving this thrift store, and there's a lady right in front of me that's leaving. It looks like she's kind of like, I don't know. I was like, I didn't notice her um, up until the point I was leaving. So I don't know if she was there the whole time. It kind of seems like that way. She leaves and then opens the door for me. And then I say thank you. I tell her in Spanish because I realize that she's a Latina. And then all of a sudden she goes into a thing. Hey, can you help me out? And I'm like, if you're from New York, you anywhere urban, you kind of know how these things usually start, right? And you kind of, you have to kind of treat it a little different because I'm not about to pull out cash. You know what I mean? Because that's just one of those instincts that you develop, right? If you grow up in certain areas, you're like, I'm not about to pull out cash for anybody because sometimes that's how you get got, right? So I'm talking to her in Spanish, and she's telling me, "Can you please help me? I got into an accident." So I could see her arm. Her arm is like jacked up. And she's telling me she got an operation. So I'm like, all right, it's at least matching up. But then I tell her, I said, "Hey, I don't carry cash. But what is it that you want? You know what I mean? What do you want money for?" She says, well, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, that's easy. I will take you. Where do you want to eat? I will take you there, right? Like, because we're in a shop, we're like in a strip mall. So there's places to eat all over there. So I'm like, what do you like to eat? And she goes, I don't know. So she starts walking around. So, I'm kind of like, I'm reading the situation. One, I'm looking around, obviously, because I'm like, you know what I mean? Only because, you want to be smart, and then all of a sudden I stopped. I said, what about that place? There's a place called Guapo's that serves, Latin American food. You like that? I say, ¿te gusta? He said, yeah, see. So we're walking there and she's talking to me. She's like, oh, I lost my husband. And I'm like, it starts dawning on me that this lady could be like a lady of the evening. You know what I mean? Like she could be a prostitute. Because I'm reading the language, like I'm reading the signs, and I'm like, okay, but it doesn't matter to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it gives me at least an idea of the stuff that she might be going through. And I'm like, okay. So, and then she asked me if I'm married, do I need a wife? All these things. I'm like, okay, she's trying to like do that thing. And I'm like, no, like, yes, happily married. You know what I mean? We're essentially communicating. We're not doing that. Like, this is not why I'm doing this. You know what I mean? And no, we're not going to get married after this. You know what I mean? So I go into Wapo's, and I guess maybe people know her. I'm in my hat, by the way. You know what I mean? Like I always am. I'm wearing a hat. I'm not wearing a hat now because, it's like this is not a hat thing. But
you can always wear your hat.
Yeah, I know. Like sometimes what happens, right? Like kind of like a uniform, right? Yeah, understood. But sometimes you got to show up as Superman. Sometimes you got to show up as Clark Kent. But this is me showing up as Clark Kent.
I got you.
So, but yeah, I'll tell my Superman story, which is, I'm showing up in my hat, and I get emboldened because kind of like, you know what I mean? I know what I look like when I'm wearing my hat. This lady's watching me. She wasn't scared. She thought, whatever. Let me ask this man for help, and I'm gonna reciprocate. So I took her to Wapo's. And then we go, we're there's only one person in line. They order, we go up to the order. And then I said, what, ¿qué quieres? What do you want? Order anything you want. So she's ordering, and she's ordering up a decent amount of stuff. I'm like, woo, you know what I mean? And then it dawns on me, she thinks she's ordering for both of us. So she's like, a whole chicken. I'm like, whoa. Because this lady's not a big lady. I'm like, and then it dawns on me,
better than just giving the 20.
yeah, well, exactly. And that's the hustle mentality. I'm like, dude, I could have given her $20 bill and come out way more ahead. But whatever. I got to this point. I chose my destiny. So in there, and I'm like, this lady thinks I'm gonna sit down and have a whole meal with her, and who knows what else. Because I walk in there, I don't know these guys. Like they see somebody in a hat, they see this lady. And then I get smiles because who knows? Maybe they think that I'm going to go pick this lady up. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, you done? Listo? You know what I mean? She goes, yes. And I want a drink, give me 2 drinks. And I'm like, all right. She go finally order. I think it just, luckily this place is also, because a Latino place is fairly reasonable. It's like just under $50. And then I think, okay, good. Listo. I tap. And then I bounce. I say, hey, que le vaya bien. And then I get out of here. And then she's like, whoa, what? Anyway, she gave her name. And then I left out there. I was like, all right, I did my good deed. I don't know what could come of that.
In the future, don't cap it at something.
What's that?
Don't cap it at something. I mean, you could be bold and say, hey, we're not doing that. I was like, I'll get you this, I'll get you that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Because when you do that, people take your kindness for weakness, right?
And
this,
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with helping people. It's just certain people like to take advantage, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta know where your limitations are, right?
Yeah.
$50 for lunch.
Yeah.
I know that would have been me. I would have been like, what's wrong with you?
I love it.
Give her $10 and walk away.
Yeah.
Get a little hamburger meal.
Yeah, but you know what? I was thinking, Sammy. In my brain, because I'm really good at seeing bad things around the corner. I'm also really good at seeing good things around the corner. And that's what this movie helped me like realize. In my mind, I already concocted a story that she said, "Oh, if she let's say like because I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, and she's not a lady of the evening, right? Right. But if she was, that means she's got a pimp somewhere, or maybe, or she's got other girls that she knows. I'm like, okay, I got this food here, let me call over somebody that I know that's working, and we're gonna eat this together thanks to this. You know what I mean? So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, maybe I
I
fed a
think,
couple people.
but I think
I don't know.
at the end of the day, is like, I'll be honest with you. I don't judge people. I mean, I
Yeah,
know people go through hard times and whatnot. What
yeah,
they take the money for, I mean, it's really my choice. If I
yeah,
feel like what they're going to use the money for is for something that they shouldn't do, but then again, I can't really be the gatekeeper to that.
yeah,
If they have a habit, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or whatever, and you give them money and they use it for that, look,
yeah.
you ha- you help them for another day. You know what I mean?
Right,
At the end of the day, do I really want to encourage stuff like that? No, but
right. And that's why
at
I
the
never
same
give money. I
time,
would get food if they want. You hungry? We're gonna get you food, not money.
that's usually the pivot where I go
Yeah,
because I usually say, look, I don't, if this is what you're talking about, I don't do. I can buy you something to eat, or I can give you whatever. I can pay for your meal, and I would do something like that. But of course, it's going to be a cap. I'm not going to let them get
yeah,
whatever they want. But again, you're cautious, but you gotta bring your guard up a little bit too, because you can't
yeah.
be vulnerable. Because
Right,
then they set you up. Because you do it today, they want it tomorrow, and then
right,
every time they see you, it's going to be the same thing over and over.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So at the end of the day, you did good. And you probably overpaid a little bit, but don't do that crap again.
Yeah, I still got, but just in a different way. And it's a,
You you go like this. You go, look, 1, 2, 3. You want soda? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
right.
Come with a soda.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And if somebody else comes around here trying to like set me up, they're gonna get a 3 piece and a soda.
There you go. There you go.
You know what I mean? The thing about it though, I like that. You see that, Sammy? It started resonating, Sammy, right? Because it's like Puerto Rican judo is a thing, So I always talk about Puerto Rican judo. It's like be careful with Puerto Rican judo. It's a very powerful martial art.
Listen,
Uh, um,
I look at. I mean, I can literally walk down the street and laugh at life, right? Because of the
yeah,
things you see, right?
yeah,
But I'm not laughing at them. I'm just laughing at life in general.
yeah,
Because again, if I drive by and I see you know a panhandler looking will work or need money for lunch or whatever, if I see them often enough, then I know it's probably somebody who really is in desperate need.
yeah,
But I've gotten, either I give them change, whatever change I have in my car, I give it to
yeah.
them. I give them a $5 bill, because what's $5, right?
Right.
Five
Yeah, you
dollars is a
know.
hot dog, a chip, and a
Yeah.
soda,
Yeah.
right? Especially if the gas station right there is giving you a $5 special, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like every now and then, if I see somebody, and if I see somebody new, somebody in a younger age,
Yeah.
I want to help out. Older
Yeah.
people even more, right? Because sometimes you got
Yeah.
older people who are struggling, who resort to, panhandling, sleeping in a
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah. They're on
You
the
know
same
what I
same
mean?
one.
But again, there's nothing wrong, especially what we're saying. What I'm saying is, not give up your life savings from. Don't take food off your family's plate
Right.
to
Correct.
make somebody else happy, because that'd be
Correct.
wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because especially nowadays with prices are so high, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But that being said, if I have something in my house that I know I'm not going to eat, like
Yeah.
canned foods or whatever, I take it and I bring it to the pantry, right?
Yeah.
It says let somebody else enjoy it, because if I let it sit there, it's going to expire. It's going to be no good. I might
That's
as well
right.
let somebody else eat it, you know,
That's right.
or enjoy it. But again, you do good, and again, you have it, you know. And I felt like this movie will
Yeah.
take you to another level, because
Yeah.
this movie is really about digging into you as a person and
Right.
getting the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that you give the most, right? And if that's so, if it's something that I can tell you that this movie did for me, was that, right?
Yeah.
Is to look beyond myself and look at other people, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's struggling, whether it's financially, whether it's, you know, they're having a hard time with a relationship or whatever, you know, to me it's not my goal, but it's, I think, my duty, that
Yeah.
if I can offer some type of advice, again, listening and speaking, some type of advice, or some type of, you know, whether it's financial help or
Yeah.
whatever, and if I could do it, I do it. Only
Right.
because, you know, go back to that TikTok person that I mentioned, grandma. The last thing I want to do is hear about somebody who I didn't connect with, but I saw that I
Right.
could have changed that person, right?
Yeah.
Because again, how much time do I have here? Do
Right.
I want to waste it on just being selfish and worried about me and mine? Or do I want to share some of that, so that if I share some of mine with that person, will that person share with other people? I'm
People.
not, it could go one way or the other, right? If I share with
Right.
that person, either they're going to do it for somebody else or they're not.
Right.
Hopefully, they do it for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. The goal is that you want to show that person or those group of people that,
Right.
look, I'm doing this because number one, I care about you. Number two,
Right.
I want you to understand that there's, you don't have to pay for everything, but there's a reward with you giving back to other people. The
Right.
reward is, it makes you feel good, right? It
Right.
makes you feel good that in the end, right, you made somebody smile. You made
Right.
somebody change their perspective. You made somebody, you know, think about life differently, right?
Yeah.
And that's a greater impact. I always told my wife, and I hate to say this, but I always tell my wife, you know, I have a lot of people that think of me as a great person, right?
Yeah.
And I told my wife, and I say this jokingly, don't
Yeah. No worries. It's a
I
safe
just say
zone here.
I just say it because, to me, I find it the best way that I could character myself, how confident I am in myself. I
Yeah.
said, if I ever die, you're going to need to have 3 days viewing for me. And the
Mm.
reason is, there's going to be so many people. They're going to come
Yeah.
want to see me. They're not going to be able to make it. I said, I want it on a Friday. I said, I want it on a Friday. I
Right.
want Saturday, Sunday, and then drop me in on Monday. She's like,
Hey.
she's like, why 3 days? I said, well, people ain't gonna make it on Friday, but they'll make it
Yeah.
Saturday. Those that can't make it Friday, Saturday, because they party, they'll make it on Sunday.
Yeah. You might as well sell some tickets on
I,
it. You know what I mean?
I was like, so I think 3 days would be just about right. And then of course, I added another thing to it. I said, well, Jesus resurrected after 3 days, right? Give me a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah. This is why I love. I mean, obviously, I love all my brothers, but Sammy has got a flair for, like, again, the story that he tells, the way that, again, he's talking about a morbid topic here, right? He's talking about his own demise, but he's still gonna make you laugh, right? And then you start feeling weird, and he knows it. He knows it. He's not doing it like an accident. It's like, oh, you laughing? He's doing it on purpose because I'm gonna talk about some deep shit here, but I'm still gonna make you laugh, you know? And you're sitting there, you're sitting there, you're like, all right, I just got, but the master here.
But yeah, it's I mean, it's deep, man. It's and again, going back, and I keep going back to the movie, man,
No
because
worries, bro.
the movie is my number one movie in my entire life.
Well, let me tell you, right? So, right, the last person that he helps is Adam, right? So we talked about Mr. Simonet, that he's basically essentially helping out to overcome his trauma, right? Which again, what you got to realize about Mr. Simonet, because I think that some people, right, they don't know the movie, they think that Mr. Simonet or Mr. Simonet is some guy that believes this kid. He's cynical. He has to break down a barrier. Like, it's a tough barrier to break down. This is the teacher that gave him the assignment. Is sitting there looking at this kid like, you don't know what you're doing, kid. Like, you don't know what's out there because you're a kid. And he has to break that. It takes him a while to break that barrier, but he does. And it's a beautiful thing to watch once he breaks through Mr. Simonet, because at the same time, he's helping his mom out, dealing with her trauma, right? It's like a beautiful dance. It's like killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, if you watch the movie Fresh, I don't know if you ever seen that. It's a great movie. I recommend it. Like, I think you would dig it. Yeah, and you might have seen it. Maybe you don't recall it, but I'm going to cover that movie at some point. But it's another kid that does something, and he's a hood kid, right? Like, he's a dude in the hood, and it's such a great movie about the power of a kid that is like well beyond his years, right? Like, and he does, he's like he's the streetwise, right? The streetwise kid is a story that's been told a long time, and there's a reason, because it's true. Like, right, when you're navigating street politics, you got to be a little wiser than your age, because otherwise, well, then you're gonna be the kid that somebody remembered. Right? Remember that kid? Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing. He got set up or whatever. Right? You got to look at the angles, right? Like Carlito says, once I stop being able to see the angles, that's when I'm done. Mm-hmm. And this kid, he sees everything, and I'm like, wow, 11 years old, and you're sitting there, right? This is not a street kid, right? He's not an urban kid. He's a very cute kid, and he's sitting there, and you could tell that the wheels are turning, and you can see it, and you can see him mastermind how he's gonna make this happen. And then you start rooting him on, and then you start getting upset with the adults because they don't know any better. You're like,
he's got like the blueprint.
Yeah, listen to that kid. There's wisdom everywhere. Like I said right in the beginning, there's wisdom everywhere. And don't think that it's not in some kid because he got a 0 or a 1 in front of his age, or the adult that has a 7, an 8, or a 9 in their age. Wisdom is all around you. And you just got to be out there, be in the mindset to receive it. Because if you're not, well, you're going to miss it. And who knows what could happen if you miss it, right? The consequences could be dire. And the way this kid, right, and you can only imagine, right? He went out essentially like Tupac, right? Like, this kid went out like essentially like Tupac. They made this kid.
Let's talk about the ending part of it.
Yeah. So right.
Because that to me that validates
correct
what we've been reiterating here, right?
Yeah.
Because the ending, even though it's sad, right? It hits the core because you're like, wow. Like,
right.
Wow. Why can I do what this kid does? Like,
correct.
Why can I be like that person?
Yeah. And then the point is that you can. But the thing about it is they did it responsibly, right? They went and said, right, there's dangers to being idealistic, right? There's a danger, right? Just like what Sammy was telling me, oh man, bro, you got to be careful with that, right? Because there is a danger, right? You think Tupac didn't know that, right? He predicted his own death. He knew what was going to happen. He wasn't a dummy, right? Biggie Smalls knew he was going to die. He was going to die, right? He was paranoid well before, right? Because when you go, right, the most dangerous profession is to be a rapper, right? Rappers don't go in there knowing, like, thinking that, oh, I'm going to retire at like 60 something, and then I'm going to travel the world. No, they're like, dude, I'm gonna probably die. Somebody's gonna go out there because they want what I got. Just like a drug dealer, right? Drug dealers don't plan for retirement. They know what it's like. Your future is a jail cell or a casket. There's no retirement. I mean, some people make it out, but in general, right? That's the exception. The norm is jail for life or casket. And in this movie, they tackled that very responsibly because they said, listen, don't expect no consequences. And I actually had experience with this recently, right? Because I was out in another thrift store. You see the common denominator. I'm always hanging out at thrift stores, but I was out there with my hat and I'm coming out the same, right? But something similar, something different happened, but kind of similar related to this movie. There was a lady that left right before I left. She had a cart, right? And she was there, like, the thing I love, right? And Sammy mentioned this, that he laughs at life. One of the things that I get a lot of joy out of is watching people come out of a store, or let's just say a thrift store, and they're so happy that they got the thing that they want, right? That little treasure. It could be a little like we call Puerto Ricans would call a little porqueria, right? Something that's like, man, this thing, like, who would love this? But they saw it, caught their eye, and it's obviously cheap, right? And they got it, and they just want to come, right? They want to take it home, and they want to go, and maybe they'll take a photo of it for the gram, right? Or for the TikTok, to kind of say, look what I got. And they were like, yeah, you got a piece of shit. They're like, no, it's my piece of shit, though. It's mine. I'm like, there's beauty in that. But this lady was doing that. You could see her. I could see the process. And I was laughing, like, to myself, and I was like, wow, that's beautiful, man. I see it all the time, but it never ceases to make me smile. But there's a twist. When she got to her car, and I'm like, oh, it's like a nice little SUV, and it was parked wrong. Meaning that you seen people, they call it they call it asshole parking, when somebody parks at a place that, in a way that's like breaks the rules. They're not within the lines.
Take the 2 spots.
Yeah. So what happens? The guy that's next to her is there waiting for her. Waiting. He saw that she was parked that way and said, I'm going to wait for this lady until she comes out, and then I'm going to confront her. So what do you think happened? The guy came out and like, you mother. You know what I mean? It's like, and then she's like, what's going on? Like, she's just sitting there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's playing dumb. I don't know. Like, she's obviously parked not well, and he's explaining it, but he's calling her, Sammy, he's calling her every name. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm watching this, and I start walking towards there because I'm not going to let this guy go and put hands on this lady. You know what I mean? And I know you know what I mean? I got a hat on, and the thing is, I don't know, that's not bulletproof. My hat ain't bulletproof. You know what I mean? But this guy is like saying, like, I know to beat your ass. You know what I mean? Like, all these things. I'm like, dude, I understand she was parked wrong, but you're seriously gonna do something to this lady? Like, I'm not gonna allow it. Like, maybe what it'll be is like you start trying to beat her up, and then you go and focus on me. But then I'll worry about that, when it gets there, right? But once I showed up on the scene, meaning I got within visual, he saw the hat. I don't know what he saw, but he saw somebody was coming towards him, and he went, stopped what he was doing, got in his car, and got out of Dodge. And I was like, woof. You know what I mean? I was like, I dodged that one. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm a tough guy, right? Like I said, we talk about this, I talk about all this stuff, right? It's not that
The flow.
Yeah.
The flow was coming to him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a protector, right? If you're a dad, right? You're an uncle, you're right. You grow up, right? The idea of a man is to protect, right? That's where the masculine, regardless of whether you got feminine energy, like, right, that feminine energy or the masculine energy is that of the protector, right? It's something that's old as time. And it triggered in me, and I said, listen, I got to be there because I don't know somebody else is going to step in. Like, I can't watch some guy beat up some woman over a parking, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he probably wrong.
But you can listen.
Was that?
You can listen, right? You could get to that spot and not be confrontational, not be.
Yeah.
Sometimes to de-escalate, you have to just let the person vent.
Yeah.
Right? You let them vent. You say, I understand, sir. I understand exactly what you're saying. However, what good is that going to do now? Like
Oh yeah.
it's already done. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
when you become the voice of reason in those situations like that. People normally de-escalate, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Sometimes they leave like the incident happened to you, but sometimes, it takes a reasonable person to not be confrontational, but be
Right.
reasonable with the guy to let them know, listen, it's not cool, you know,
Right.
and your nonchalant way, you would tell the person, you know, look, you're looking like an ass out here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And,
Correct.
and, and that's usually the way you can get, like, I would confront somebody in that situation, not like that. I would
Right.
be like, what seems to be the issue, sir? I
Yeah.
understand. I see that she's parked wrong. I get that. But what can you do now? Why are you making this a bigger issue than what it is?
Right.
You said your piece, jump in your car, and just go.
Yeah.
I'll explain to her when you leave that she did it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and,
And
and
you're
that's
absolutely right.
usually all they want to hear. They want to hear
Right.
that their actions were justified, right?
Right.
And he might have been justified to say, me personally, somebody parks like that. I got again, I
Right.
got 20 years, right? Let's go back.
Right.
20 years. I don't got time for this shit.
Right. Yeah.
You
He
know what I mean?
waited. The thing,
But
he waited for her. Like,
but
bro, what's
people
going on?
but this is what I'm saying is that people do not value time
Yeah.
as well as they should, right?
Right.
You got time to go berate somebody because they're Indian, they're brown, or whatever. You
Right.
got all that time in the world. Listen, your days are counting. Your
Right.
hours, your minutes, your seconds are being wasted on stupidity,
Right.
right? And again, it doesn't hurt to be kind because
Correct.
9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, if you're kind, it'll be reciprocated. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, sir. I didn't realize I did that. My
Right.
apologies. You
Right.
understand? But
Yeah.
instead, people choose to be confrontational because
Correct.
they feel like they're entitled to speak what I speak,
Right.
right? You have a right to speak whatever you want to speak. You want to preach whatever you want to preach, but you don't have the right to throw it upon somebody else.
Right.
At the end of the day, do people make mistakes? Yeah, people make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Like I've made a ton of mistakes, but
Right.
I've
Same here.
learned from them too,
Yeah.
right? If it wasn't for my failures, I would not be successful, right?
That's right.
I always tell my kids, and my kids are always, um, they're always making fun of me because I throw
Yeah.
words of wisdoms at them, right?
Yeah.
I said, listen, uh, if you want to succeed, you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And why do I say that? I say that because I'll give you an example, right? And I'll put you through the test, right? If I grabbed you, right, by your hands, and we were at the beach, and I walked you out, right, out into the water, little
Right.
by little, we're getting closer and closer to your neck, right?
Right.
You're still walking with me, and I'm going to walk you. And then I say to you, okay, we're going to go a little bit further. You trust me? You say, yeah. So we go a little further. Now, when we get to the chin area, obviously we don't want to go past that because what?
Right. Right. Drown.
You're going to drown, right? But then I turn around, I stick your head in the water, and I keep your head under water. What are you going to do? What's your first instance?
Oof. I guess to let go, like get the hands, right? If you're still holding my hands, I'm gonna try to let go, release the grip from the hands.
But
And
my
try
hands
to
in
get
your
back.
head. Why do you
Yeah.
want to get back?
Well, I'm sorry,
Why do you want to get back up?
to breathe.
Okay. So when I say if you want to succeed in life, you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. That
Hey.
says a lot, right?
Yeah.
In other words, don't tell me or explain to me how you're going to do it or where you want it, or how you or when you're gonna do it. You have to want it as bad as you want to breathe because the same way when your head was in the water, right? The only thing you could think about was what?
Yeah, wanting to breathe.
Breathing,
Yeah.
right? So if that's the only thing you were thinking about, then that's the only thing you should be thinking about to succeed, right?
Hey, I
I
love
always
it.
say if you wanna fly, if you wanna soar with the eagles, you have to stop flocking with the turkeys,
Hey,
right?
hey, I love it. Hey, I think they're gonna have you're gonna be a widely requested guest, Sammy. Like I said, you already said you were gonna come back. And like I said, this might as well be your series. You know what I mean? And I know you said this is your favorite movie, but I know it's not your only movie, right?
No, it's my number one all time movie.
Well, that's why it's number one here on the series. You see,
Number
you
one
are
for
number
me.
one with the
Like
bullet.
there's no movie out there, and I love many movies. There's
Yeah,
no movie out there that I would put in front of this one movie
yeah,
because, like I said, paying it forward Pay It Forward is a movie. It changes things
yeah,
in general. Like it can not that it changes, it can change
yeah,
a person in general because of how it was made, what the message was,
yeah.
right? And the viewers, from a viewer standpoint, how you absorb that, right?
Right,
If you absorbed it the way they intended it for you to absorb it, then
right.
you'd understand the message.
Yeah,
And that message is loud and clear, right?
yeah.
In order for you to change the world, you have to put in the work, right?
That's
Which is
right.
what the kid was. The kid, he
Yeah,
knew it was going to be tough. He knew it was going to be he didn't know how to be different and change. Like the project, kids in school, when they think about projects, they're thinking about building something. Like
right.
this kid took a project because he wanted people to change. And
Yeah,
again, going back to the end, right? The last thing he did in his life was defend somebody,
that's right.
right?
That's
And he
right.
took and I don't want to spoil it, but we already
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
At the end, unfortunately, he didn't get to live it, right? Experience the love because he was unfortunately taken away.
yeah.
But the impact of what the message was, you're never going to receive the credit, the love, and to this day, I feel the same way. I'm never going to receive the credit, the love, the admiration, the respect that I think I deserve while
Right.
I'm. The only time you get to see it is when you're gone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But
So,
it's interesting that you mentioned because that scene, right? I thought it was like the final salvo, right, in terms of the beauty of this movie, which is if you live your life this way, you never really die, right? Because the idea
oh,
and the love that you put out there, right? Right? Is Tupac dead? Well, no, Tupac still lives, right? In the
his
music, if
words.
you right, his legacy it lives on. Like my brother Nelson may not be physically here, but he still lives right here, right? He lives right in my brother's heart and in all of our minds, and right every single time, right when it's like, remember that thing that Nelson did, right? Every time we go and remember him, he's living, right? That's why it's such a beautiful concept that because everybody's like, oh my God, this little kid was struck down. Well, he's still alive technically because look at all the people out there holding the candles. They're there because of him. So that right there, right? Because some people are so afraid, right? And like you mentioned, it's like, yeah, I'm okay with what I put out there. This kid, if he was still like, let's say he had one little, like, he had a few extra seconds and he knew he was going to die, he probably would have said something like, it's okay, meaning I'm okay with what I put out there. It just seems in his character, like, and he's only 11. Like, this kid is Tupac.
That's
He,
that's like
he, yeah,
that's like I tell people, you know, and again, call it creepy, call it whatever you want. I just look at, and Call it morbid, whatever. But when I
Right.
look at a tombstone, right, the first thing I look at is obviously when they were born, when they passed.
Right.
But that's not the important thing. Sunset and sunrise and sunset is not the important thing. What's important is that little dash
Right.
in between. That is you, right? Your legacy is that little
Right.
dash. So that little dash represents that person in that
Right.
tombstone. So when I tell people build on your dash, I mean build on that. While you're
Yeah.
still here, make it better, right?
Yeah.
Build more on that because at the end of the day, right, you're not looking for recognition, acknowledgement, or nothing, but you always want to leave the world in a good place,
Yeah.
right? Better than when you first got it. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's gonna be your legacy, right? That little
Yeah.
dash is your legacy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going on 2 hours, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna end on this because do we hurt? Of course, everybody hurts every single day, right? But pain is only temporary,
Yeah.
right? It may last a second, it may last a minute, it may last an hour, it may last a week, but eventually it'll subside. It'll subside. But
Yeah.
if you quit, right? If you quit, that pain lasts forever,
Yeah.
right? So that being said, you could be going through things. You could help out other people, right? Whatever you're going through, you can help somebody get out of that hole. Somebody's going to notice that you're going through something, right?
Right.
That person, you're going to get an angel. How many times have we said it before, right? Oh, you're an angel, right?
Right.
You're my angel, right?
My guardian
Because
angel.
out of the blue, you came out of nowhere and you just, for some reason, you were placed there, right? We've seen and heard these stories before, right?
Right.
Maybe it's not the time for you yet, but it's coming, right?
Right.
Somebody's going to save you. You just have to be open to be, you know, leave yourself open to that person or that group of people or that team or whatever that may be, that forces may be. You have to leave yourself open to accept that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, don't stop helping other people
That's right.
because life takes breaks, but not, breaks because you stop, it's going to stop
Right.
somebody else. Because remember, when you take a break, you're also giving somebody else a break, which
Yeah.
you really should do. You should just keep it going,
That's
right?
right.
So, long story short, the movie itself is self-explanatory. Pay It
Yeah.
Forward is the name of it. I think anybody who watches it, I guarantee you, it'll drop tears for me. Might drop tears for
Yeah.
you, maybe not. But you'll get the message. The message
Yeah.
is, right, you got in order for this world to do better and be better, it starts with somebody.
That's right.
And this movie, it started with an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And the impact he had in the world, well, his region, but the world. And even today, right? We mentioned earlier, today that pay it forward is still happening
Yeah.
because of this
Again,
movie,
that's the
right?
legacy. Yeah. Never died.
And to this day, you could probably look up in any social media platform and put up the word "pay it forward," and I guarantee you, you're gonna have somebody in any, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook,
Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram, whatever. You're always gonna find stories about pay it forward, and all of
Right.
that is because of this movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a powerful movie. It's my number one movie of all time. There's no movie that I can think of today, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago that could surpass this movie of what this movie
Yeah.
does.
Hey, I gotta agree with you. I mean, again, this is like I said. I just want to
I
thank
would
you for
love,
your time.
I would love to hear other people's perspective on this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
yeah,
Like,
drop a comment on here. Like what I want to do is I'm gonna make sure that, right? Like this is not gonna be the only one, right? This is a series that I started. If you guys have a movie and you guys want to comment, I will share this with my brother Sam, and make sure that maybe he'll come back and just to answer your comment.
Yeah, it would be nice if anybody who saw it and wants to talk about it, just have a second part of this, just to see their perspective on it. Because I think the important thing is, like I said, you can watch any movie you want. It's
right.
A lot of times, what do? We go to the movies, we watch a movie because we love Batman, we love Robin, whatever.
Right.
Right. You come away with nothing except for the experience of watching a well-tuned action movie. But a movie that has meaning, a movie that can move mountains.
Right.
You don't spend enough time watching movies like that. Yeah. And this one movie here, I'm telling you, if it doesn't move you, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I'm proof. Like I said, I did not see this movie. I know these actors, right? So you would think, okay, he's a movie guy. He recommended it. Oh, I never seen this, but if it's good enough for my brother Sam, I got it. Like it's gonna happen, and I made it happen that day. You guys, I can't tell you to prioritize this over literally anything, but I'm saying it's well worth your time. And again, even if you don't come away, right? Just like my brother Sam said to me, even if you don't like it, tell me. Right, I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Right, and I'll do the same. Right, I'll never. Right, my buddy Robert told me I didn't join your stream on the Blues Brothers because I hate that movie. Meaning, I think it's bunk. Right, it's not real. Like it's not even blues. And I'm like, hey, Robert, I appreciate your opinion. I respect it, but you don't have to like. Just because you disagree with me doesn't mean you can't come on here and tell me why. As long as we're respectful, we're good. So shout out to Robert for sharing that opinion. Not every movie is for everybody, is what I'm saying. But Sam, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Like I said, it is the greatest gift you can ever give anybody else is your time, right? And for me, right, obviously, we got a little bit of distance in terms of physical distance, but I'm gonna be in Florida before you know it, and maybe we can get together, with your beautiful family, and we'll make it happen. Like I said, it's not that difficult.
Absolutely.
Like I said, this is my big girl here.
I got
You know what I mean? Like this is a family thing for this stream. But you guys that watch that aren't my actual family, you're still my family. It's just like my extended family, right? So you guys matter, and I'll gladly do this for you guys as well. If there's a movie that you guys really have in your heart that you want to do, well, this is the platform. I will do this with you. And who knows, maybe Sam will watch that movie and it will change his life. He's like, I never saw that movie. And I'm like, let's do it because you guys matter. So shout out to my brother Sam. Shout out to my whole clan out there, Bobby, Eli, Johnny, the whole family, because you guys are my base. I don't get here without you guys. All of you guys, not just one of you guys or two of you guys. All of you guys. I'm not the man who I am right now without you guys. So I'm gonna check out here. If I'm gonna say, obviously, I won't say my call line because this is not a hack channel anymore. But on behalf of Sam, on behalf of myself, I'm gonna wish you a blessed day. And we'll catch you. I will catch you tomorrow for Hat Tuesday. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao.